Hello there! In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a keto chicken bacon jalapeno casserole, and it is so good. I wanted to share this recipe as part of the Summer of Giving in order to raise money for Mama Owl. Mama Owl and Junior, or Papa Owl, have really had a rough time, and we're trying to raise some money to help their family. So I enrolled in the Summer of Giving cook-off, and let's talk about my recipe. So we're going to begin by putting 8 bone-in chicken thighs in some water. Then we're going to add some onion, a few fresh sprigs of thyme, a few crushed garlic cloves, some rosemary. Fresh would be better, but I don't have fresh, so dried is fine. Some salt, some pepper, and last but not least, some more chicken bouillon and water. I like my broth to be really flavorful, which is why I started cooking with a little bit of the chicken bouillon in it, but you don't have to. It'll make its own. And water to cover. Now we have our chickens covered with water, mostly, and the burner on high. As you can see, these chicken thighs are still frozen, which is one reason why I didn't worry about chopping up the garlic or onion finely, because they're just going to be boiling forever anyway. So let's wait for this to boil. Don't watch. You know what they say about a watched pot. All right, it's finally boiling. We're going to separate the parts of the chicken, if we can. Yeah, those are still too frozen, but that's okay. They'll come apart in time. And we're just going to leave the burner on pretty high, and we're going to let this cook a while. We'll be stirring it here and there, pulling apart the pieces of chicken when we are able, stirring them so that the ones on the bottom get to come to the top, and so on and so forth. Flipping over the ones on the top to help them actually get cooked on both sides, which is easier when you have 2 hands as opposed to trying to do it when you're also shooting a video. Anyway, we're gonna let this cook forever. We want to cook it until the meat is literally falling off the bones. And we got them separated. Yes, awesome. The ones on the bottom are already separated, so that's perfect. That lets us stir them. Nice. All right, we'll be back when we are ready to take this off the burner. All right, so I just shut off the chicken. It is absolutely tenderly done. I just poked my spoon through it, so it's exactly how we want it. I have to get all of this meat off of the bones, and I can't do it when the mixture is so hot. So we're gonna leave these to cool while I go and run a couple of errands. And now we are going to drain it by putting it into this bowl in the small colander inside a big bowl. You can see I already started a little bit just because there was so much water. So let's get that draining now. So you see most of the chicken actually stayed in the pan while I took this out. So we're going to find a container to put that in while we drain the rest of the chicken. Now we've got our chicken draining in here. We are going to grab our jalapenos and start doing some other prep work. So for the next set of work, we need to have some cream cheese out softening. Should have done that earlier, but I forgot. And we need 4 jalapenos if they're giant like this, or 5 normal sized. And we're just going to cut them in half and then slice them. Now listen, If you are not familiar with the cutting of jalapenos, you will want to wear some gloves and you will want to make very, very, very sure that you do not touch your skin or in particular your eyes while you have the jalapeno juice on you. In fact, you're probably going to want to wash your hands really, really, really well afterward, and still don't touch your eyes or your face. Okay, check it out. Our jalapenos are ready to go. Now it's time to start working on our chicken. So we separated the chicken off of the bones from the first chicken thigh. We're going to hang on to this. We're going to get a casserole dish, spray it with Pam, and put the chicken in. And we're going to take the bone and the skin and we're going to put it back. Well, maybe not the skin, but the bone we're going to put back into the broth, and we're going to continue cooking that for basically as long as my patience will withstand. I think you're supposed to do 24 hours, but I never make it that long. Anyway, we're going to put this back in, let all the amazing goodness from the bone soak in to make a really nutritious bone broth. And I will be back in a moment with the casserole dish to show you the next step. So we have our casserole dish filled with the chicken. We did have some left, so I'll use that in my chicken veggie soup. And let's talk about the skin for a second. I am 100% in love with the skin of chickens. It is literally my favorite part of the chicken. I know it's unhealthy. I know we shouldn't eat it, but you know what? Tonight, I'm going to save just a little bit of the chicken meat, all of the chicken skin, and I'm gonna make some mashed potatoes or a baked potato, I don't know, and I'm gonna have a feast. So what about you? Do you like the chicken skin? Do you think it's gross? Do you love it but avoid it because you're a healthier person than me? Tell me in the comments. I'm curious. Now, let's make our sauce. There are two different ways that you can make this sauce. The first one is a traditional jalapeno popper keto recipe, but there's another version that I experimented with and kind of made myself, and that is buffalo chicken, which is very, very similar to the buffalo chicken dip that you eat with nachos, but without the nachos because keto. So we're gonna need a few basic ingredients. Our softened cream cheese, which is actually not that softened, heavy whipping cream, Frank's Red Hot sauce, some ranch seasoning. I have a canister, but you could use like some Hidden Valley Ranch. And I think that's all. Also, please note that if you have cats, this is the point at which your cat will smell the chicken and start begging. Be prepared with a strategy. My strategy is to just give her chicken. We're going to add our heavy cream. Just some. Now I made a double batch of the other stuff, so we will be using a considerable amount of heavy cream and about 1.5 bars of the cream cheese because this is such a large batch. And we're going to add 1 full thing of cream cheese. We're going to scrape off the extra that's on the foil. Every little bit counts. And then we're going to get another one, cut it in half. There we go. Now we're going to turn our oven on to 325 to get it preheating, and we're going to turn our heat on low. Medium low. More medium, I would say. So you see a jalapeno fell in. That's fine. We usually don't cook them, but you know what? I kind of wonder what would happen if we did. I would probably like it better because I like cooked jalapenos a lot better than raw. That's an idea. And I don't see our Frank's red sauce. So I need to go ask my husband. He rearranged the refrigerator yesterday. We're going to whisk this periodically. Now right now it's a little hard to whisk because the cream cheese was not softened at all, unfortunately. We tried, but it was the last minute when we tried, so yeah. So we're just going to continue stirring this periodically. And then we're going to start adding our spices. We're going to add onion powder. How much? I don't know. I don't like bland food, so I figure more is better than less. Garlic powder. That was probably too much, but whatever. Paprika. Now we're just going to continue stirring here and there until all of the cream cheese is nicely blended in. Now, as you can see, it's bubbling well. Everything is mixed together fabulously. I did a taste test though, and it doesn't have quite enough paprika. So we're going to add just a little more. There we are. Stir it a little more. Oh yeah, that looks right. Perfect. And now we're going to add our cheese. I don't know if this will be enough. It's just what's left at the bottom of a package. But we're going to add some in and stir it, then add a little more. Now, if I were not trying to do this on video, well, now I happen to use Colby Jack today, but you can use cheddar. I've used cheddar often. There's probably all kinds of other cheeses you could use, maybe the Mexican blend. This is just not quite as cheesy as I would like, so I'm going to get a little more. This is actually mild cheddar that we're going to use. I'm going to keep stirring that occasionally though, because don't want it to scorch. Don't fall in there, don't. Oh, that was close. So we're going to add some more. Stir. Oh, I didn't stir that for a little too long, so don't be like me. It can scorch on the bottom. We're gonna keep stirring until all that cheese is melted together, forming a thick sauce that is full of flavor and absolutely wonderful. All right, now we're gonna turn off the heat, stir it for another few seconds. And now, back to the casserole dish. Now it's time to start layering things on our casserole, starting with jalapenos. Doesn't that look great? Now it's time to add some bacon. Now, I used bacon bits today, but you can use fresh bacon from the store. Either one is fine. Now, let's add the sauce. Oh, look at that. Now, guess what we're gonna add? If you know anything about keto, you'll know. Cheese! all the cheese. Now that looks perfect. Time to put it in the oven at 325 until the cheese is melted. I have 2 pro tips for you. First of all, you want to cook this so that it gets done about 20 to 30 minutes before your meal. Why? Because when you cook it, the sauce gets really thin, but it thickens as it cools. So it's much easier to serve when it's just a little cooler. Tip number 2, if you're snacky, the leftover sauce in the pan is delicious. Check this out, amazing. So good, so good. Well, I now feel fat and happy. The casserole was delicious as always. I mean, it has bacon, like of course it's gonna be delicious. And I hope that you enjoyed it. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you think you'll want to try, or if you have a recipe on your channel that you think I should try. And as always, eat something wild. I'll see you later.